Welcome to the Forecast by Bambuser, your guide to the future of retail, tech, and innovation. We bring you insights from the world's frontrunners so you can stay ahead of the curve and win big. Let's go. Stockmann is the leading premium department store in Finland and the Baltics. They attribute their major success to a deep understanding of their customers and how to connect with them on an emotional level. Today, Global Marketing Manager at Stockmann, Airisto, sits down with Bambuser CEO Maryam Ghahremani for a fascinating conversation. Let's find out what it takes to win big in the premium segment.
Hi, Anna. Thank you so much for being a part of the Forecast by Bambuser. So, Stockmann has been using video commerce for years now, and I would love to hear how it all started off for you guys.
Hi, lovely to be here. Stockmann started with live shopping in May 2021. That was the time when COVID was very much still affecting everyone's lives, and people were spending a lot of time at home and online. So that is when we heard of this new format of live shopping and quickly made the decision that probably this would be something that we should try and to inspire our customers online and while they're sitting on their couches. And that's how we started.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. So what were your initial learnings from launching Stockmann live shopping back then?
From the first show, we were really positively surprised how well the format and the technology was adapted by our customers. So it was really easy for them to use, easy for them to understand how the live shopping environment and all the interaction and engagement works. So that was definitely one of the things that were really positive surprises for us. Then when we started, we made the decision that as a premium brand, we wanted to use the best-in-class hosts in our shows, whether they are top influencers talking about their styles, whether they are beauty experts or interior designers or other top experts from different fields. That's something that we wanted to start with at the beginning.
Great to hear. And of course, COVID is not around. It hasn't been for a while. People, the stores have reopened a long time ago. And how would you say you pivoted from like live shopping into video commerce and how you're using the technology today compared to, back in the days?
Yeah. We started with live shopping. So we did all the shows live. During the first year of doing live shopping, we also had an external partner to do the product broadcasting for us. So kind of to take care of the technology, the lights, the cameras, the sounds, to ensure the premium experience that we really wanted to deliver. But then later on, we learned that we actually can do a lot in-house, and actually the production is very easy to do with a certain set of things that you need. So later we have started to do the production in-house, and also from the actual live broadcasting, we have also swifted a bit towards the pre-recorded possibilities. So it's not only live these days anymore.
So you have a lot of different shows. Amongst them, you have streamed directly from the catwalk to digital audience. I would love to hear, how do you come up with all these content ideas, and what type of shows does your audience enjoy the most?
Well, at Stockmann, we are given a great deal of liberty in experimenting things. So to come up with new, fresh ideas for our shows and for our content, we are really carefully following what's going on in the world and in the world of content marketing. And we are really into trying new things. We feel that you don't know if you don't try. Some things that we have learned during along the way is utilizing also the Stockmann experts. So it has kind of been also a cultural shift inside the organization. We are using, for example, the Stockmann buyers as hosts these days a lot, and we kind of didn't used to have our buying experts in front in our marketing activities before, and when we feel that they are actually perfect salespeople, but also spokespeople for the different collections that we have, and to tell the stories behind the brands and all that. And now that we've done the shows for 3 years almost already, we have really learned through data what works, what our customers really like, and we have learned that they really love to see our experts on stage as well, together with the influencers or then just the Stockmann people on stage. And as you mentioned, we have tried so many different things from catwalk fashion shows to having a dog hosting one of the shows, a wellness themed one. So a co-host, of course. But we have really tried a lot, and we feel that you don't know if you don't try different things.
I like that approach. You have to trial and error, right? You have
Yeah,
to
exactly.
try. Yeah. So Anna, you mentioned you have a dog that was a part of a show. Would love to just deep dive a bit or double down on that one, as it sounds very interesting and fascinating.
Yes. So we were producing a wellness themed show in the beginning of the year, and with this health and wellness coach, a local expert, and she actually has a beautiful dog that she suggested that would it be a possibility for the dog to join the show as a co-host, and we thought that it was a lovely idea, and of course a really good opportunity for us to showcase the pet selection as well. And it was one of the funnest shows to do, because the whole atmosphere of the show was very, very relaxed due to the fact that we had a little furry co-host online.
I can imagine. I have to go back and watch that one. It sounds fun. So I would like to hear more about how you measure success. And I know that you have developed something very interesting called emotional value index. So could you just brief us more about what that means and how you work with it?
Sure. So the customer promise of Stockmann is a feeling that lasts, and measuring emotions is part of the Stockmann strategy. Emotional Value Index, EVI, is a KPI for all of us at Stockmann, from the salespeople to the CEO, and it replaced NPS as a KPI in 2021. So basically what we do is measure what kinds of emotions do different touch points arise in our customers. And the scale is from plus 100 to minus 100, with plus 100 being the best score. And we measure the EVI for each of the live shopping events as well. So live shopping is one of the touch points, and we currently have a very good score in that touch point or in that format. So it really gives us a great deal of understanding how our customers appreciate the content marketing that we do.
That's amazing to hear, and a lot of inspiration. And what other metrics could you share with us that you're using to measure, except the emotional value index?
In addition to the EVI, we of course measure sales, views, the viewing time, and conversion. Regarding views, we are hearing a lot of feedback from the physical stores that the live shopping shows actually drive traffic to the physical stores as well. Measuring the sales through the brick and mortar is quite manual these days still, but the views kind of give a little hint of how much the customers have been viewing, how many unique people we have had there, and possibly then have driven them to the physical stores. So that is one very important metric for us. And also we are really excited to have noticed that the viewing time at Stockmann is in the Stockmann shows is quite high, and quite significantly actually higher than the fashion industry average, for example.
And talking about like from the live show to go in store, do you ever use like discount codes or anything else to really like drive or measure? Because as you say, there is nothing digital yet to really measure like what you watch and then you go to store. But like, is there anything that you use in terms of campaign to drive that footfall and be able to measure it?
We tend not to use discount codes a lot in our live shows, because we have noticed that the sales are being generated anyway. So we kind of don't want to maybe offer the discount in all of the shows just to measure the amount of people going to the physical stores. We are happy if the customer is shopping online or in the stores, or if we kind of planted a seed of inspiration to them, and maybe they will join us and shop at Stockmann later. But what we are definitely seeing is that customers are coming to the stores asking after the items that we have showcased in the shows. This was very visible, for example, in one of our recent jeans themed live shopping shows, where the actual items that were presented in that show were really well selling in the physical stores. And jeans as an item is something that you often want to try on. So that show especially was very efficient in driving traffic to the stores.
I mean, I think looking at the customer base that we have, you've been one of the most successful ones with really using, like, connecting offline and online and seeing it as one touch point and seeing it as different touch points. So I think it could be a lot of inspiration for people using video commerce overall to really think offline, online as one touch point rather than two touch points. So you get a lot of answers and feedback during the shows, and I'm wondering how that feedback or content goes back into the creation process.
So we do get a lot of feedback from our viewers, and that feedback has included, for example, great ideas about future hosts and also potential show topics. So we have actually taken these wishes into practice with great results. So our customers were very active in commenting. So that is very, very lovely.
That's amazing. Going back to emotional value index, or EVI as you call it, why did you choose to replace very classical MPS, that is, I would say, very mainstream, to going to using EVI instead in terms of measurement?
Yeah. We at Stockmann, we want to create a feeling that lasts. Stockmann is a heritage brand that has been serving customers for more than 160 years already, and a feeling that lasts is our customer promise. So that's why it is very logical to measure the emotional experience rather than the willingness to recommend forward. So kind of the EVI enables measurement at many different points on the way, whether it is a shopping experience online, whether it's watching a show, whether it's visiting a store. So, and the NPS is very much focused on after transaction feedback. So we feel that through EVI, we get a more comprehensive picture of how we are doing from the point of view of the customer experience.
Amazing. So if we look a bit into the future, what is up next for Stockmann and video commerce, and what would you say are your ambitions looking forward?
We have had a heavy focus on the live shopping actually during these past 3 years. So now we are kind of piloting more the video commerce side of things. So maybe producing a more shorter type of video content, snack-sized videos that can be easily delivered to customers through newsletters or the e-com site. So to kind of create more inspiration in the online store. So that is something that we are experimenting more. Also, as we are closely collaborating with many world-class brands, whether it's from the fashion industry or beauty or home, we feel that there is a lot of potential in collaboration with different brand partners. The brands that we carry have a lot of beautiful content that we probably could utilize for video commerce as well.
Looking from a premium retailer's perspective, as also being a leading one, what are some consumer trends that you're seeing today that you would like to share with us?
Well, first, sustainability, of course, it is a very obvious one, and maybe on the hygiene or must-have level already. So we are seeing that the customers are more into investing in quality that lasts and that can be then recycled or or resold, and also thinking about maybe the resale value when they invest in a piece. So that is definitely a must-have now. And also at Stockmann, we feel that premium retail has a lot to do with the experience. So, and preferably a personalized one. So it can happen online when you're shopping in an online store, by knowing me, by suggesting me products through my preferences or desires. Or then it might be in the physical stores, a lovely selling ceremony or a lovely transaction in the physical store. So experience is something that we at Stockmann are very, very much investing in and looking into.
Yes, interesting. And finally, Anna, what would be your top advice for someone, for a brand or a retailer that wants to start with video commerce as a new channel? What would be your best advice to them to get going with this quite new channel?
Yeah. I would suggest to build a good process and work together. At Stockmann, we would have not succeeded in video commerce without great support from different parts of the organization, meaning sales, meaning e-com, meaning our teams are experts at buying, and also our marketing colleagues. So these days we have a very well functioning machine, so to say, where all the different parties know their responsibilities and take care of their share, whether it's pre-marketing, merchandising, hosting, after marketing, picking the items, any function along the way. We have great teamwork behind it.
I must say I'm super inspired by how you work, and it's very unusual. So keep on with that. So Anna, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your amazing insights on how you work and what you see is coming next. And we love watching Stockmann and are excited to see where you go next from here.
Thank you so much for having me, and stay tuned. We have many exciting shows coming your way this spring and summer as well.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. We have much more content coming your way, so make sure to stay in touch. You can follow us on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on YouTube, of course. Or you can even subscribe to our newsletter to make sure that you never miss a new episode. And see you very, very soon as we drop new episodes every month.